Hi guys, welcome back to Nacy DIY Crafts. For those looking for simple Christmas DIY ideas for their craft fairs, let's get started. Let's make envelopes for these lottery tickets. On the bottom right hand side of the screen are the sizes of my lottery tickets. In this video, I help you create envelopes for 3 different size lottery tickets. Each envelope is going to have a mini card in the front as decoration. So first I'm cutting my piece of paper to 3x6, scored at 3. Now I'm going to give you easy ideas to decorate these on a pinch. I'm going to decorate this card very simple, just using 2 foam stickers, a gingerbread and a candy cane. I first place my gingerbread at an angle, and then I add the candy cane right on top of his hand, so it looks like he's holding it. And that is it for our first little card. Now let's make our envelope. In this video, I'm not going to provide you with measurements of where to fold and where to cut. Instead, I want to show you how to do this technique without all those other tools. To make the envelope, make 1 fold. Use your bone folder for a nice press. Make sure that the corners are lined up with the rest of the paper because you want a good fold. For the next step, place your lottery ticket into that fold. Give yourself a little less than a 1/4 inch and then fold the other side up. You want to give yourself enough space to slide the ticket in and out and have enough space to add glue to seal the envelope. Here I'm just checking to make sure that I have enough space to add the glue. Now you're going to make 1 fold at the bottom. Place the ticket in that bottom fold. Now let's fold the top. Now the top portion is really up to you. I like to give myself a little bit of space between the ticket and the seal. Now let's cut the 4 corners that I'm marking using your scissors. I like to start at the corners and I like to cut a little below the score line, and then I end with an angle cut. It should look like this. For this large ticket that measures 4x8, the paper that is left, you only have less than a 1/4 inch to seal the envelope. So when placing your glue, make sure that you get as close to the edge as you can. Use your bone folder to press for a nice seal. Let's seal the bottom portion. Now I'm using wet glue for this first envelope, but you can also use double-sided tape, which I end up using for the other 2 envelopes that I create in this video. Now for the top portion, we're not going to seal it, but we are going to add the double-sided tape, and we're not going to release the top strip because we'll leave that to the recipient. Once they add their lottery ticket inside this envelope, they can peel off the strip. The double-sided tape I'm adding is longer than the actual seal of the envelope, so here I trim after. That way it gives it a nice, flawless look from left to right, and you don't see that tear look. Perfect fit for our 4x8 lottery ticket. Now let's go ahead and place our 3x3 card to the front. You can use wet glue or you can use hot glue, which is what I'm going to use. Now I'm only adding a little dab of hot glue and placing it at a slight angle in the front. I'm also going to add one of these mini bows to the top portion of the card. Now I have 2 different sizes in this container, so here I'm just trying to figure out which one will look best. I decided to go with the big large red one. I'm also going to use hot glue to attach this. Reason 4, I feel the adhesive on these bows is not strong enough and I don't want to take a chance of my bow falling off. Now your recipient can write a message to their sender, and that's it. Let's make our second envelope. I'm using 3 different shades of cardstock to create and decorate my envelope. Now this ticket measures 4x5, so you can really create the envelope whichever way, using horizontal or portrait. Same technique, you're going to make your first fold, insert your ticket into that fold, and make your second fold. You'll notice that that piece, it's hanging over. You can either fold it over or trim it. I'm going to trim a little bit. I do recommend that you mark where you're going to make your trims to prevent any cutting mistakes and waste of paper. Now let's trim the top portion. I'm placing my lottery ticket back inside and I'm just eyeballing it, giving myself enough space at the bottom and then the top. I trim, and now let's make our folds. Bottom fold, use my bone folder again for a nice crease, Place lottery ticket back inside the fold and make my second fold. Now let's trim our corners. So we're trimming these 4 pieces. And again, I like to trim a hairline below the score line and then end at an angle. I place my lottery ticket back inside and make sure that I can fold all my 4 corners. If you have an issue folding down one of the corners, go back with your scissors and trim a hairline off of each side. And then try again. Now let's seal our envelope. So here again, I'm just folding it over to see how much space I have and where to place the glue. Once I add the glue, I am going to use my bone folder to press it down for a nice seal. Now I'm attaching my double-sided tape to the top portion, again with an overhang, so I can come back and trim it for a flawless look. Now let's create our mini card. I'm using 2 different shades of cardstock. My base card is going to be in green, so I'm cutting it down to 6 inches by 3 and I'm scoring it at 3. I'm going to add a top layer of red that measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Let's fold our mini card. I'm using my bone folder for a nice crease. To decorate the card, I'm using a simple technique again. I'm adding my red layer and I'm using these 2 different images that I purchased online. The gingerbread characters I purchased at an online store called Polka Doodles, and the joy tag I purchased from an Etsy shop. I prefer purchasing artwork online, 1 because I'm supporting artists, and 2, these files are saved on my computer and they're ready for me at any time that I need to print them out. Just like the first envelope, I'm also going to use a bow to attach to the top of my card. Another benefit of purchasing artwork online, this is the same image and I sized it 3 different ways. I went with the small gingerbread. I'm attaching it using a dimensional dot, and now I'm attaching my card using hot glue. Another thing I did with the gingerbread cookies was I used Jelly Belly pens, which are glitter pens, and I highlighted different areas of the cookie. Not necessary, but I wanted to add a little bit more of a touch. For our last ticket that measures 4 by 2.5, I'm using again 3 different shades of cardstock. For the base card, I'm using this color, cutting it down to 6 by 3 and scoring it at 3. For the top layer, I'm using this peppermint paper and I'm trimming it down to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. To decorate the card, I'm using again a very simple technique. So first I'm attaching my top layer using wet glue. Then I'm going to use 2 images from the batch that I had purchased online. I'm going to attach the presents using wet glue and placing it on the left corner of my card. Then I will be attaching my gingerbread using pop-up dots. This last envelope is going to be smaller than the last envelope we created. It's really up to you what size card you want to place in the front. I did create a 3 by 3 card, but you can also create a smaller card to attach to the front of the envelope. When creating this envelope using a pattern paper, it's important to take note of which way you're going to cut your paper so your images are not upside down. I cut my sheet down into 2 halves that measure 5.5 by 8.5. I'm using my 3 by 3 card as a template so I know where to make my folds. Now let's cut our 4 corners. Again, using my scissors, I like to trim a hairline below the score line and I end my cut at an angle. Now let's attach our double-sided tape. So I'm starting with the top piece, adding my strip that hangs over so I can trim for a nice cut. Then I'm adding the double-sided tape to the middle and to the bottom portion, and I'm just doing a rip. Here I'm only trimming it because I cut a little over. But at the bottom and the middle portion, nobody's going to see those rip tears. Now let's attach our mini card to the front. Now this is where I instantly regretted making the card so big, so I do recommend making a smaller card, especially when you're using such a pretty design paper. You don't want to cover it up with such a large card. So here again, I'm attaching using hot glue. Let's bring over the other two, and that completes our projects for today. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for joining me. Bye.